Hello friends, welcome back to Dr. Jackie's Academy. Today I will discuss about the diseases of the respiratory system. Actually, we can divide the respiratory diseases into two basic categories. One is called as obstructive lung disorder and second is the restrictive lung disorder. So in this lecture I will restrict myself to tell what are these two kind of the patterns of the diseases and what are the examples that come under these two. So let's start. So in this video, first of all I will discuss about the obstructive lung diseases, what we mean by this thing. So when we say obstructive lung diseases, the major point is obstruction, some blockade in the respiratory airway, in the bronchi, some obstruction is there. As a result of that obstruction, air comes out of the lung more slowly than the normal. That means the person feels difficulty in removing the air from the body. That means the limitation on the amount of air that is exhaled, exhalation of the air is basic problem in this condition. And even after the full exhalation, that means person has forcefully removed all the air from the lungs, even then some amount of the air still remains in the lungs. Okay, so that is the characteristic feature of the obstructive lung diseases. So more point about these diseases, and particularly if we go for the laboratory findings. So the hallmark is that there is a decrease in expiratory flow rate. As I told, the person feels difficulty in removing air from the body, so that means there is a decrease in the expiratory flow rate. And as a result, this is a parameter of expiration, that is forced expiratory volume. That means the maximum volume that can be exhaled after full forceful expiration, that is called as forced expiratory volume, FEV1, that is reduced. It is a hallmark of the obstructive lung disease. But remember, there is no alteration, that means normal. The forced vital capacity remains normal. That means if we take the ratio of these two, FEV1 divided by FVC, this ratio will be reduced. Because this value is reduced, this is normal, the ratio is reduced. So what we can say, the ratio of these two becomes less than 0.7. So this is a laboratory finding of the obstructive lung diseases. So what are the examples? Bronchial asthma, very common example of obstructive lung disease. Second, chronic obstructive lung disease, which is also called as COPD. It is another example of obstructive lung disease. COPD is further of two types. One is chronic bronchitis and second is emphysema. Some other examples, bronchiectasis. It is another obstructive lung disorder. Then cystic fibrosis. So asthma, COPD, bronchiectasis and cystic fibrosis, these are the examples of obstructive lung diseases. Coming down to the another pattern that is there in the lung disease, that is called as restrictive lung diseases. So as the name indicates, restriction on the expansion of the lungs. So why the lungs are not able to expand properly? Because the lungs are stiff. There is stiffness in the lungs. So lungs cannot expand as in the normal persons. So we can say there is a restriction on the lung expansion. So what we can say, in this condition, persons complain of the inhalation, not exhalation, that is there in the obstructive lung disease. So inhalation is the major problem in these restrictive lung diseases. So what are the laboratory findings? So there is a reduction in both forced vital capacity as well as the expiratory volume, forced expiratory volume, because once the inspiration is not there, obviously expiration will be reduced. So as a result, the value of this is reduced. Vital capacity is also reduced. But if we take the ratio of both FEV1 over FEVC, this ratio will not be changed. This will be normal because both the values are reduced. So this is the hallmark. It is a normal thing. What are the examples of restrictive lung diseases? So we can say there is an acute or chronic interstitial lung diseases. That means some inflammation in the interstitium of the lungs. pneumoconiosis, sarcoidosis, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. So you can say all these are actually the diseases in which there is some sort of the fibrosis, some sort of the stiffness take place in the lungs, and lungs are not able to expand. So this is the difference between the obstructive and the lung diseases. So there is obstruction, there is a, you can say, restriction because there is a stiffness. This problem is exhalation, the problem is inhalation. Decrease in FEV1, but FVC is normal. Decrease in both FEV1 and FVC. Ratio is reduced, ratio is normal. Example, asthma, COPD, bronchiectasis, fibrosis. Examples, interstitial lung diseases, pneumoconiosis, sarcoidosis, and pulmonary fibrosis. So in the upcoming video, I will discuss about the bronchial asthma, the types, and the symptoms. Thank you.